Just sign in real briefly here. Make sure everything is as it should be. Yes, indeed. Sign in real briefly here. Make sure everything is as it should be. Yes, indeed. Sign in real briefly here. Make sure everything is as it should be. Yes, indeed. Alrighty. And there we have it. Hello there, Bobo. And hello to anybody else out there who may be watching. My name is Jordan, also known as JMonster, and you guys are watching the semifinals stream for our official Third Age Reforged tournament. With much effort, we have finally got it off the ground, and we've got some really strong teams here. Fluffy and Vislac obviously haven't lost a single game, and Rex and Soph were a little bit unlucky early on in the tournament. There was, I think, some confusion about the time, and yeah, now they're getting a second chance at life here. This is really for all the marbles. This is a single game elimination tournament, so the second somebody loses, that is it. They are gone. And that would be real tragic, I'm sure, for Fluffy and Vislac, but they have very graciously allowed Rex and Soph another shot at the title. So that's very nice of them, and they've got their factions and everything else ready to go. So once everything is once their army comps and such are locked in, we'll be able to get this started. Third day of Christmas stream. Yeah, that's from a stream I did quite some time ago. I don't know why it would still be called that, but let's call it something else. There you go. Assuming it wants to actually take that. No, apparently not. Nope, it's not going to let me change the name. I don't know why. But in any case, for those of you that are just joining us, this is the 2v2 semifinals for the official Third Age Reforged tournament. This is being done on the .96 hotfix, which was previously known as .951. So .96 was going to be a patch, like a much larger content patch, but that is not what this is. This is just some stat fixes and things like that. Yeah, you guys know. Are you sure? Plot twist 6v2. Yes, yes. That's the surprise ending we have here. But in any case, yes, this is what the hotfix is going to look like. So if you guys have not seen any new hotfix footage or things like that, there's some pretty significant changes. There's a few minor roster additions. Some factions lost some units, but overall, hopefully, it's a much better, much more balanced game. Oh, hi, Boris. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Let's see what we got here. Well, Soph's first one to get her army in. She definitely knows. She's had a lot of time to think about it this morning, what kind of army she would bring, while waiting for Celtic to appear from the woodwork. What's not showing on stream? Oh, it's entirely possible there's like a delay or something. Just as that's par for the course when you stream, really. It's not entirely live. It's usually a few seconds behind. Still waiting on the rest of the teams to get themselves locked in, and then we can finally begin this. And afterwards, the winner of this is going to move on to the finals. Of course, it is a semifinals game, and I'm not sure who's going to be waiting for them. I think it's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be a toss-up between actually one of the developers, one of the lead developers, Kuro-Chan, is competing in the tournament, and there's another really strong team of veteran players, one of which has a developer in it as well. Oh, looks like we'll be rehosting. Oops. Oops indeed. So we're going to be rehosting now, and hopefully it won't take quite so long. There we go. This is the War Clan versus BOH is like BAH, which I'm pretty sure the only two members are in this game right now, that being Vislac and Fluffy Duck, neither of which have their clan tags on. So there you go. But yes, it is technically a clan battle in the sense that both players are affiliated with the same sort of loosely tied organization that is a Reforged clan. Yes, indeed, it is a chariot. I will be coming to you live from my glorious chariot. The Blackjack and their team name is Blackjack and Hookers, where Ducks Prime Celtic and Rex Prime Soph will be. I believe their team name is the Sword of War. It is worth mentioning, by the way, that I don't think Vislac and Fluffy Duck have actually played very much on the new patch generally, but certainly not on the hotfix. Fluffy Duck being tremendously lazy. I know he's in here and he can hear me. Never doing his tester's job, but it doesn't seem to have prevented them from doing really well in this tournament. All right. Yes, indeed they do. And in the hotfix, there were some really big changes to Javelin units in general. Most of them lost a trait. It's like the Throne trait that goes under their weapon attribute, so they don't destroy Mumakil the same way that they used to. But the chariots are actually one of the units that retain that trait, so they are very, very good at hunting Mumakil. Oh, we're almost ready. Just waiting on Celtic. Celtic, always late. Right? That's some devastating trash talk right there. Very eloquent, Fluffy. Alright, so it should only just be a few more minutes here, I think, until we finally get things started. For those of you that are just joining us, we do have another semifinals match that's running on right now. I believe it is being streamed by Crimson Behelite. So, if you guys are interested, I'm going to put the link to his stream down in the description. Not in the description. God, I spend way too much freaking time on YouTube. Down in the comment section? I don't know. In that little stream chat area. You know what I'm talking about. In just a moment, and I will hunt it down for you. And there you have it. So if you want to flip between this match and I believe the other semifinals match, which is running concurrently to this one, that is an option for you. Oh, good grief. Has he gone AFK again? That would be tragic. Mostly that would be funny. But at that point, you have to feel terrible for Soph. She's had a pretty rough morning so far. Stream is funny. Let's roast some duck. All right, I think we're about ready to kick it off. And there we are. I'm really excited to see this game. All of them are very experienced, very strong players, so I'm hoping we're going to have a good show here today. Something down into like the 90 to like 95 or something range. And this is where somebody crashes. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, what do you know? Not today. There you go. That's me in the chariot right there. Kierdan. Jmonster face reveal confirmed. Alright. Pop myself back over into this corner. So for those of you who are familiar with our with the teams competing in the tournament today, who are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to win? That's what I'm curious about. We had a lot of trouble with no-shows very early on in the tournament, and it's really kind of shook up the meta. Well, the meta, the expectations, I suppose, of people who were spectating the tournament. So, of the remaining teams, who do you think has a good chance of winning? Yeah, are you rooting for Fluffy Duck and Vislac? There we go. Yeah, we have one for Celtic there. Red Rattler, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another one for Fluffy, the Norm. There's a lot of support here for Fluffy Duck and Vislac. Looks like Soph and Celtic might be the underdogs in this. And there's at least one person in the audience who Fluffy Duck has apparently been bribing with sexual favors, which is, I don't even want to think about that, honestly. But hey, there's another person throwing their hat in the ring for Fluffy Duck. Jmonster, more like Ruins Deployment Monster. You are not wrong. Ideally, this would have a second commentator or another referee or something like that. That would even out the deployment a little bit. But hopefully it's not too much of a hurdle for our contestants to overcome. I'm sure Rex and Fluffy, or Rex and Soph are simply happy to be here. Which one kept readying up first? I think that was Soph that was the first one that was ready. Yeah, my presence in the game has definitely caused some problems with the deployment, but I am here with the consent of the people playing in it, so I'm sure they knew. Yeah, they will have to walk about. There's going to be a little bit of maneuvering and posturing and that sort of thing, but there usually is in tournament games. I don't see people go for rush builds very often, and obviously this kind of deployment precludes that a little bit. But yeah, assuming that neither of them have really gone for a rush build, and Mordor / Rohan, I feel like no. I feel like they probably are going to take a more careful and considered approach to things, using Rohan and their superior cavalry as kind of the hammer to Mordor's anvil, like the sheer amount of numbers and things like that they can put down. So I don't think we're gonna be rooting anybody's strategy. At least I hope not. Yes, good and bad can be very much a rush faction, but luckily they're not in the game today, so that'll be okay. I think the one game that they will be in will probably be Kuro's game, and that's being streamed by someone who's also playing, so that shouldn't cause any problems for them. Yep, he definitely will. One of the things on the hotfix is that archers in general had their caps toned down a little bit, but I believe that horse archers have kind of managed to scoot by that relatively untouched. I know that Riders of the Fold, in particular, got an extra unit, so they can bring 3 of them now. He is indeed Rohan. Yes, Celtic is playing as Rohan today. The parallel game, I put the stream for it a little bit farther up in chat, but that obviously got lost, so there's the second game right now. I think it's still going on. I want to take a look. Yes, indeed it is, and it is, they're right in the middle of the game. So if you guys want to go and check that out as well, and then come back and check on this one when it started a little bit later, then absolutely. The BGM? What is the BGM? Maybe I could answer that question for you. Oh yeah, I'm expecting a lot of skirmishing here. I can't remember what the other two picked. I think one was Kond, which means we're going to have a lot of horse archers. You are very much correct here. All right, let's take a look. No, actually, it's Harad. A lot of AP here. The Southbound Warband, very cost-effective, very useful. AP pikes, always deadly. More AP here in the form of some trollmen, and what do you know? We got some champions of Nafarad here as well. Fair amount of fear-causing units as well. All the trollmen are fear-causing, and he's deployed right next to his ally, who's got some pretty decent stuff here. So yeah, we do have Kond on the field today. So this is a very fluid, pardon me, a very fluid force here on the flank. Let's take a look at the Haradrim Cavalry before we move on. What do we got here? We got some Rangers, always nice. 2 units of the Serpent Bodyguard, the Serpent Guard, and 1 unit of the Sexy Black Serpents. So a lot of really hard-hitting light cavalry, medium lancers, I should say. Khan's End, they've got, they got some knights here. The Fearsome Very-Eyed Cataphracts, a unit of the Brotherhood of the Lance as well, who do not suffer from the regular Lancer penalties on account of Khan's faction bonuses, which is really nice. What do we got here? Some cheaper units. Some nomadic infantry. Got some of the sexy Nurad footmen, who are one of the few units that are not a spear unit that can form shield wall. Got some Norad halberds as well. Some nasty anti-cav here. Now this is a really potent combination, and it doesn't surprise me that they've gone as far as they have in the tournament with this with that kind of lineup. But let's see what Sofa's brought. I got a fair amount of archers here. A couple units of the Mornon archers. Some orc fodder out front, because of course you have some orc fodder. Ooh, some nasty anti-cav here as well. Melkor's Chosen. They lost their AP in this patch, so they don't hit quite as hard on the charge, but they are still a very strong survivable warg unit with a lot of anti-cav, and so are these guys. The Mount Temple Inquisitors ain't no joke. You don't want to mess with them. Some nice AP here, and some strong pushing units in the form of the, I believe they're called the Black Legion of Baradur. A lot of halberds. It's a nice army. Oh, and the sexy new Olokai models, who currently are, I think there's an issue with their running animations, so they kind of waddle about like very ugly bellicose penguins. But they're very good looking, high quality model. And you can thank Crimson Beheli, who is streaming the other game, for that. So pop on over to his stream and give him some love. Temple Inquisitors as well. Let's see what Rohan's got. Ooh, a lot of horse archers here. Yeah, you called it, chat. 3 units of the Riders of the Fold, I believe. No, that's 3 units of the Riders of the Fold over here. I think there's Arid horse archers, something along those lines. And what else we got? I believe this is Rittermark Cavalry. Pretty decent medium lancer unit. I believe they've got about 18 defense in total. And this is a new, well, not a new unit. This is a unit that's been around for a while. These are the Rittermark Skirmishers, but now they are actually melee cav as well, in addition to their javelins. And their javelin ammunition has gone down, I believe, by 2. Which is significant, but they're a little bit more versatile to make up for that. Arid of Aldberg, 2 units, it would appear, of Arid of Aldberg. Ooh, unit here of the Knights, or the Sons of Eora, rather. J-Monster's gonna win this, yeah, definitely. Fear my chariots, they slaughter Mumakil. And we got some mid-range skirmishers here. Not a lot of infantry that I'm seeing, though. Very cavalry heavy. Extremely skirmish heavy as well, which that's going to be interesting. I would honestly give the advantage in this kind of game to the faction that brought all the infantry that they did, and that's going to be Kond and Harad. It's going to be difficult, I think, for for Mordor rather, to fight off this massive horde here. This is very strange. This is a strange world we're living in when Mordor is outnumbered 2-1. Let's see what we got here. Horse archers from Celtic moving forward. Thinking a little bit better of it. I don't see any archers, however, for Harad, which is, I mean, apart from the single solitary ranger unit that they have, that's interesting. You know, I did say that I thought that Khand and Harad had the advantage, but Harad is extremely vulnerable to missiles, and that is the one thing that Celtic has in spades. So if he can kind of draw elements of Fluffy's army away from his ally and pick them apart with his archers, I don't know. Maybe they do have a chance here. Maybe I called it a little bit too soon. Well, let's see what we got. Celtic moving forward, being very aggressive with his horse archers. He's really got nothing to fear at this point. Aside, of course, from the Serpent Guard, who are very swift and have a chance to catch up to the horse archers. But as long as Celtic is on top of his micro, should not be a big issue. Ooh, what do we have here? Possible micro mistake. Fluffy might just catch him out. Ooh, Celtic is going to hightail it out of there. Hard to blame him. That's a lot of AP spears coming his way. Meanwhile, over here, a lot of these Southron Warband just dropping dead under that withering volley fire from, I believe this is the Riders of the Fold. Yes, indeed. Yeah, trying to focus down one unit at a time. Be as efficient with their ammunition as possible. Meanwhile, the rest of the horse archers staying just out of range of those AP spears. Soph being, I don't want to say passive, but definitely holding her ground for the time being, letting Celtic kind of do his thing. Ooh, what do we got here? Big charge from the front by the Sons of Eorl. You don't usually see these guys charge headlong into spears, and they are going to take some casualties there and some significant losses. I don't know if I would have gone for that. I think he was trying to get more of a lightning strike, but he ended up very much embroiled in a prolonged melee here with some AP spears, which is obviously not going to be great for any cavalry unit, much less a very expensive one like the Sons of Eorl. Fluffy still relentlessly moving forward, but this unit here of Southron Warband has just been destroyed. And it seems like Celtics has this game well in hand for the time being. I probably wouldn't use my javelins on these guys. I would definitely try and use that on another unit like, say, the Black Serpent Bodyguard, if at all possible. Uh-oh. Oh, Fluffy might just have what he wants. Riddermark Cavalry about to get caught out by a combination of some AP Southron Spears and the Black Serpent Bodyguard. Micro mistake there on the part of Celtic. Looks like that unit is going to commit because so many of its units were trapped in melee. Celtic is going to desperately try and pull out of there. Ooh, it's getting real nasty here. That is a big loss for Celtic for very, very little gain. Meanwhile, the rest of the skirmishers doing their best to try and whittle down the Harad infantry. And so far, they've done a great job, but Harad has more and more yet to come. And of course, there's some more heavy-hitting units here. This is really just the tip of the iceberg. What do we got over here? Very Cataphracts getting a rear charge against some of the, I think these are the Arid archers or horse archers or something like that. And that's going to be devastating. Ooh, that's like 3/4 of the unit right there, destroyed. Well, at least it did manage to kind of blunt the charge a little bit. Maybe the Sons of Eorl locked in melee would be able to hold these guys down for a while. But of course, Celtic probably wants to get out of there, given how many of the Haradrim spears are in the area. So some great teamwork here from Vislak and Fluffy Duck, covering each other fairly well. Ooh, the Sons of Eorl almost getting caught out there by the Haradrim. What do we got going on over here? Prolonged melee. Some Brotherhood of the Lance have now joined the fray. Got some Arid skirmishers, Riddermark skirmishers, getting locked in combat with some Southron spears, who meanwhile are getting brutally peppered down. Looks like Soph has brought some of her mounted Temple Inquisitors over here as well. And Soph is now, oh, she's already engaged Khand. Oh, we had some hidden Orc Javelins here. These guys are spear units, so they're not going to be completely helpless. Well, those very Cataphracts definitely a couple tiers above those Orc Javelins. And this is not looking great for Team Sword of War at this point. Now, this is a fight that's going to be, I think, in favor of Mordor, believe it or not. Now, the AP on units like the Norad Footmen is going to be useful against a unit like the Black Watch or Black Legion of Barad-dûr, but their infantry is better, and of course they've got their own halberds here, and their halberds are better than the Norad halberds. So this will be interesting. Ooh, I think the very Cataphracts' luck has finally run out here. They are very strong in close quarters, but the Melkor's Chosen are undoubtedly stronger. What do we got here? Some of the I think this is the nomadic infantry joining their brothers here, the Neurod footmen, and really pressing hard on Sof's right wing. And there's just more and more infantry just pouring in here. Some more nomadic infantry and some nomadic light infantry as well. But let's pop on over to the Herod and Rohan fight, where it's interesting. It looks even, and there's still a lot of Rohan cavalry still in the field. Celtic has had some micro mistakes here, and it looks like these horse archers are going to get themselves caught by the Serpent Guard. And the Serpent Guard is something that it appears that Celtic is really having some difficulties dealing with, especially those black serpents. Sons of Ayoral moving in, prowling around, looking like they were going to go in and support their ally Soph, who's really having a hard time right now, but I think now he's going to turn around and try and get a piece of the black serpents and the rest of these lancers. Now, in this kind of straight-up fight, the Sons of Ayoral are going to have no problem at chewing them out. But before we get to that, let's pop back over here. Looking pretty even. Some of the Kondish cavalry getting swept away a little bit. And it looks like Rohan over on this wing has managed to turn the tide against Fluffy Duck's forces, so most of his chaff is now gone. Sons of Ayoral in here, doing what they do best, but they're about to get pincered by a unit of AP Spear. So Celtic is really going to want to get out of there. I don't think he's going to have an opportunity, however, before Fluffy Duck manages to tighten the noose. That's going to be the end of a very important Rohan asset. So it's, in my opinion, it's pretty even over here between these two forces. Some Southron Pikes now joining the fight against Mordor. This is going to be no problem for the Southron Pikes if Mordor can't leverage their skirmish units, and they are not going to be able to, as it would appear that the Moradin archers have been caught out by the nomadic infantry. And we got over here some Temple Inquisitors. Now, they would be very much welcome, I'm sure, at various points on the battlefield here, especially against, well, potentially against the Trollmen, although I guess Soph probably wants to keep her heavily armored units away from units like the Champions of Nafarat and so on. Some of the, looks like the Kondish axe throwers getting caught out by the Olokai. And the Olokai are really having a hard time right now. All on their own, unsupported against all these hard-hitting units. I think Soph's in a lot of trouble. But let's see. Is Celtic going to be able to turn the tide here? And it looks like he swept away most of the Haradrim forces on this wing, so now he needs to just motor it, get over there as quickly as possible. If he can come in from behind Vislak, that would be a big, big deal. What do we got here? The Chieftain's Vanguard getting themselves locked in combat with the Temple Inquisitors, Mounted Temple Inquisitors, that is. They're going to have no problem cutting through the Chieftain's Vanguard. Now, they are not an HP unit, but they are very, very well armored, and they are anti-cavalry as well. Although, Fluffy Duck now coming in with, I think, is one of his 2 remaining reserve battalions of chaff infantry. That's going to be a problem for Soph's Mounted Temple Inquisitors. She's going to want to get them there as quickly as possible. Over here, Celtic coming in from behind, going after the Heshari Shadows. Ooh, almost getting himself stuck in on those pikes. But instead, he's going to get a nice charge here into the rear of those Trollmen. Oh, this is devastating. Well, that's going to do a lot of damage. This could turn the tide here as long as Soph's infantry manages to hold on for just a little bit longer. I think she's going to be rushing in some reinforcement there to try and hold down her very battered right wing. But maybe it's too little too late. Ooh, a rear charge here being mounted by the Melkor's Chosen. Straight on into a combination of Neurod Footmen and Trollmen of Harad. Not as devastating, I think, as Soph really wanted it to be. But Celtic's going to follow that up with a second cycle charge here with his Rittermark cavalry. Meanwhile, the Olokai are doing their best to hold the line. Let's see if they drop those lances. Yes, indeed. Ooh, and that is going to hurt. Soph now ping-ponging off of that blob, moving over to her right wing. And looks like the Haradrim and the Kondish forces are starting to run out of steam here, although there is a breakthrough in the center against Soph's forces. This is a very, very close game. What do we got going on in the back lines here? Aelred of Aldburg moving in against a unit here of the light nomadic infantry that Vislak is using to try and buy himself a little bit of time. What do we got here? I think this is Aelred of Aldburg, or it might be the Rohan bodyguard. Pretty sure, given the size, that it is the Aelred of Aldburg. And yeah, if these cycle charges continue, I think this is gonna be it. They might just pull out a victory here.
They have lost half their men.
Are they gonna drop those lances? Yes, indeed they are. Ooh, that is very, very devastating. Now those horse archers relentlessly pelting Fluffy Duck's unshielded, lightly armored pikes. I can't tell if they're routing or if they're trying to reform and maybe go after some of the archer companies. It's very broken, though. It looks like a bit of a rout. Soph is so surrounded in her center, but it is giving Celtic an opportunity to just fire indiscriminately into this blob of enemy and friendly troops. In the words of the King of England from Braveheart, yeah, well, we'll hit theirs too. I think this is going to be a victory for, well, potentially. I think this is going to be, actually, no, I'm going to call it right now. This is going to be a victory for Team Sword of War, and it looked like they were struggling really hard for a while. But there's a lot of breaking going on here amongst Fluffy Duck's infantry. Ooh, those Hashari Shadows. Taking out a couple of those expensive Milk Horse Chosen. Fluffy Duck moving over with a unit of his Southron Warbands to try and defend his Rangers. I think the sheer volume of cavalry at this point that Celtic was able to bring to bear is it's proving to be too much, even for Khand. Maybe if Khand had some more of their melee cavalry here. Now, one of the things I didn't see was the Swift Blades, or I think that's what they're called. I don't really know what ultimately became of them, but some more melee cavalry was definitely needed in this fight, although it's hard to predict exactly when someone is going to bring a nearly full cavalry army the way Celtic has in this point. Or in this game, I should say. I can't look at our percentages, unfortunately. There's still some Khandish infantry here. The New Rod Footmen are very, very well armored. And Soph is almost out of infantry, so if they can finish them, if they can finish off Soph quickly, they will be able to circle the wagons and try and hold out against the cavalry of Celtic. And if they can do that and still manage to retain some of their spear units and especially their pike units, I think maybe they have a chance at winning this. But as it stands right now, the Khandish and the Haradrim forces are extremely battered. And they're being held up right now for a very long time by what remains of Mordor. Meanwhile, Celtic is just running around, ping-ponging back and forth between enemy units with his cavalry, trying to do as much damage as humanly possible. Oh, what do you know? The Swiftblades are over here. Not many of them left, though. Obviously, they've seen some shit. Oh, he just got bitch-slapped right into the next world. Beautiful. And there he goes. The last Swiftblade has fallen. Ered of Aldburg reigns supreme. Khand moving in with some of the remaining infantry battalions, very, very thin on the ground. Celtic's going to pull out at the last moment here, scooting safely away with his Ered of Aldburg. See his horse archers. I think they're starting to run out of ammunition at this point. Although I say that, and there's like several units of them firing into the Haradrim. Yeah, at this point, I think all that Fluffy and Vislac can really do is try and bring all of their forces back together and put up a united last stand. Because at the moment, Celtic is just running around, picking off like stragglers and small units. So let's see. I guess, given what I'm looking at right now, it's really going to come down to how much ammunition the Celtic has left. If he's got a lot of ammo left in his horse archers, he might just be able to shoot everybody to pieces and whittle the remaining. What do I want to call them? Blue team, red team? I don't know. I'm used to doing replays. He could have an opportunity to whittle down the remaining Fluffy Duck and Vislac units on the field and potentially pull out a victory, like a come-from-behind victory. That'd be really impressive. Let's see what we got here. Yep, just some fairly lightly armored pikes. Uh-oh. Some Fluffy Duck's units look like maybe they're trying to run down survivors from Mordor. At this point, probably not too worth it. We got in the back, some of these nomadic infantry locked in combat against the Ered of Aldburg. This is actually where Celtic's general is. Theoden himself hacking down the men of the East on the front lines. What do we got over here? I think there's a Rittermark cavalry, either that or Riders of the Fold. Fluffy Duck and Vislac better hope these aren't Rittermark cavalry, because damn can they do some serious damage on the charge. Especially to some of these important HP but very lightly armored low melee defense units like the Trollmen. Well, this appears to be most of what they have left. What do you know? Fluffy had some hidden rangers all along. Some of the mounted Hashari. They're taking pot shots at Ah, of course, the Shield Maidens. Oh, I think the Shield Maidens are out of ammunition at this point. Oh my god, over here, Black Serpents, along with a unit of Southern Warband, finishing off another isolated unit of the Shield Maidens. It's hard to say. Should I join the fray at this point and rout everybody's armies and actually win the tournament for myself? No, perhaps not.
Tidings. The enemy general lies dead.
I don't know whose general that was. Let's find out.
It's time to press
Ah, it was Mordor's general. That's to be expected. Sorf doesn't really have anything left at this point. Now, that is a fairly impressive number of infantry. It looks like Fluffy Duck and Vislak have managed to circle the wagons here, bring all of their remaining forces together, and yeah, and keep their shields and swords pointed towards Celtic, not really giving him the opportunity that he needs to flank around and just generally be a nuisance. You know what? Maybe I was wrong. I thought that that Soph and Celtic were going to win this, but seeing the amount of infantry that's still left over versus the amount of cavalry that Rohan has available to them, I don't think it's going to happen. It was a very good battle, very close, but there's not the infantry here that's needed. If Rohan had like 3 or 4 units of infantry, for example, maybe they'd have a really good shot, but I don't think that they do at this point. I don't know, let's take a look. Let's see what chat thinks. Yeah, chat thinks Celtic is dead. What do the rest of you guys think? Yeah, I think this is a foregone conclusion at this point. What do we got here? They have a few skirmishers. A lot of them are rangers too. It's definitely not a great thing to have to face down. Is that another Swiftblade? There's more of them? No, that's the Brotherhood of the Lance. Is Celtic firing into his own? Oh dear, a little bit of a micro mistake there. Celtic firing into his own troops. Hold on, let's get a little bit closer. Let's be cheeky. Once it's very clear that we have a winner and there's really no dispute about it, I'm gonna take a run at Vislak and Fluffy Duck. Shh, don't tell them. Needs to sacrifice a unit for rear charges. Yeah, that's really the only option he has here, but the problem with that is that the pikes will absolutely destroy anything that runs from the front, especially the cavalry. They have such a huge bonus against cavalry that's it almost wouldn't even be worth it. It would be a waste of a unit because you'd never get into position in time. Got here. Looks like some Riddermark cavalry. Still got some Shield Maidens fighting off Fluffy Duck's General's Bodyguard. Actually, I don't know if this is General's Bodyguard or not, but it is a very strong 2 HP cavalry unit intended to be a General's Bodyguard. And what do we got over here? Hashari Shadows charging into the rear of... I think these are Horse Archers. Ooh, some point-blank shots there. I think Celtic is doomed at this point. Yeah, let's get up here. Let's get our chariot into place. I see no reason why we shouldn't be just a little bit cheeky since we're here. We'll try to stay away from everyone's cavalry though. I don't want to be accused of interference. That would be unprofessional. Okay, we need to find somebody's general and assassinate it. That's the important thing. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, that's a GG from, remember, I thought that was from Celtic. But it's pretty clear at this point. What is gonna no, perhaps we'll wait a little bit. I'm really eager to get in there and to make a nuisance of myself. And Celtic trying to do his best to thin out the herd. Once Celtic gives the GG, that's when I think it'll be time to charge into them. What do we got going on here? Ooh, get rid of Aldberg, charging down the Hashari. Are they stalkers or shadows? I think it's stalkers. Oh, we gotta get over here quickly. We're gonna miss the party. Celtic still trying to do his best. Meanwhile, he's being bullied by Fluffy's polearm units. He might. Looks like he might be trying to kind of separate them a little bit, look for an opening. I don't think he's got the amount of cavalry left to do this. Yeah, there's the GG from Celtic. All right, let's go ahead and try and find someone's general and murder it. Let's see here. Where's Vislak's general? I think it might be in here. That makes sense. Yeah, I think... No, that's probably just an officer. Never mind. What we got here? Halberds. We probably shouldn't run into them. Ah, there's the general. Chieftain's Vanguard. They must be eliminated. Ah, is he watching the stream? Can he hear me? You monster. Oh, my chariots don't seem to want to respond to my commands here. Oh, that's unfortunate. We lost one of them. I don't think we're going to have the opportunity. No! He must die! Oh, we got one. Come on, get over there and slaughter him. Must kill the chieftain. We must.
Our men have slain the enemy.
Yes! Okay, I can admit defeat. Everything is great.
Lose their will to fight.
Well, there you have it, everybody. That is our second semi-final game. Congratulations to Fluffy and Vislak, who will be moving on to the finals, and a fantastic game to War Celtic and War Soph as well. They put up a great showing, and it was really nice of Fluffy Duck and Vislak to give them a shot at this tournament because of the absences early on earlier this morning. It really didn't seem like they got a fair shake. So I'm glad they have an opportunity to perform today, and hope you guys all enjoyed it. There you go. I'm going to shut down the stream for now. I will let you guys know as soon as the finals match is about to start. Hope you guys enjoy this. Take care, everybody.